I remember the first time I truly noticed it, my grandmother, who had always been the picture of vitality, suddenly started feeling exhausted all the time, no matter how much she slept or how carefully she ate. There was a constant fog hanging over her, a fatigue that never seemed to lift. It didn't make sense. She followed all the right advice: 7 hours of sleep, a balanced diet, plenty of water, but something was still missing. One afternoon, as we sat on her porch, sipping tea, I asked her, "Grandma, why do you always look so tired? You've done everything right." She looked at me, sighed, and said, "I wish I knew. Dear, I've been feeling like this for months. It's like there's a weight I can't shake off, no matter what I try." Her words stuck with me, and over the next few months, I started digging into what might be causing her, and many others like her, to feel this way. I learned that, despite getting enough rest and eating healthily, there are hidden culprits that can silently drain energy, especially for women as they age. It's not something that's easy to see on the surface, but once I started looking closer, I realized just how much the smallest habits could be impacting her vitality. Like many women over 50, Grandma's fatigue wasn't just about the obvious factors: her diet, exercise, or sleep. No, the issue went deeper. Her immune system, which naturally weakens with age, wasn't working as efficiently. Her hormonal balance had shifted, leaving her feeling more sluggish than she ever had before. Her body, despite being healthy, wasn't getting the nutrients it needed to properly fuel itself. And worst of all, like so many others, she hadn't been giving attention to some of the most crucial body parts that silently bear the brunt of this aging process. As I listened to more stories like hers, it became clear fatigue in older women often has hidden roots. It's not just about how much rest you get, it's about how your body is using that rest and what you might be neglecting in your daily routine. Today, I want to share the surprising reasons that might be draining your energy and how simple changes can help bring it all back. So, if you've ever wondered why you feel tired, despite taking care of yourself, stick around, because this could be the key to unlocking the energy you thought was lost forever. As I sat across from Grandma on that quiet afternoon, I couldn't help but wonder if the fatigue she felt might be linked to something deeper than just age. I had learned a lot in my research, and now I felt like I was beginning to understand the pieces of the puzzle. After menopause, many women like Grandma experience a dramatic decrease in estrogen and progesterone, the hormones that once regulated so much of their body's functions. I had read about this, but hearing it in the context of her own life really brought it home. You see, when estrogen and progesterone levels drop, it doesn't just affect things like hot flashes and mood swings, it goes much further than that. These hormonal shifts can lead to a profound sense of exhaustion, trouble concentrating, and even disrupted sleep patterns. For Grandma, this meant that even after a full night of sleep, she would wake up feeling as if she hadn't rested at all. It was as though her body was awake, but her mind and energy levels were still in hibernation. And I realized this wasn't an isolated experience. So many women go through this unspoken struggle, unaware of how significant these hormonal changes really are. That wasn't the only factor contributing to her fatigue. As I dug deeper into what could be causing this constant drain on her energy, I discovered another important piece of the puzzle: nutrient deficiencies. These tiny but crucial elements were likely playing a significant role in her tiredness. Grandma was an active woman. She ate well, she enjoyed her morning walks, and she tried to stay hydrated But something was missing. I learned that deficiencies in vitamin B12, iron, vitamin D, and magnesium can have an alarming impact on a person's energy levels. Without enough of these nutrients, the body can feel sluggish, and cognitive functions like memory can start to decline. Even something as simple as a lack of vitamin B12 can lead to brain fog, making it harder to focus, remember things, and stay sharp. Iron is essential for transporting oxygen throughout the body. So without it, Grandma could be feeling tired simply because her blood wasn't getting the oxygen it needed. The missing nutrients, I realized, were like the missing gears in a well-oiled machine. It wasn't that Grandma was doing anything wrong. It was that her body, as it aged, wasn't absorbing or processing these essential nutrients the way it used to. I could see the frustration in her eyes as she spoke of how, despite eating healthy meals, she still felt drained. Her energy seemed to slip away, no matter what she tried. Then there was sleep quality, or rather, the lack of it. We often hear that we need to get enough sleep, but what many don't realize is that it's not just about quantity, but also quality. You can sleep for 8 hours, but if that sleep is shallow or interrupted, your body doesn't have the chance to truly recover. Grandma had always been a light sleeper, but after menopause, her sleep became even more fragmented. The number of times she woke up in the middle of the night increased, and she often woke up feeling groggy, even after a full night's rest. The lack of deep, restorative sleep meant her body was never fully able to recharge, and her energy reserves were constantly low. The impact of chronic stress and mental exhaustion also couldn't be ignored. With age comes a lifetime of experiences, some joyful, others more challenging. For Grandma, there were worries about her health, family concerns, and the financial pressures that had always lingered in the background. Though she would never openly admit it, I could see how these constant stresses were wearing her down. Mental fatigue has a way of draining your energy, often without you even realizing it. The more stressed you are, the more it takes out of you, not just mentally, but physically as well. Grandma had always been a calm and steady presence, but lately, I could sense a weariness in her that went beyond what I had ever seen before. And finally, there was the issue of blood sugar balance. This was something I hadn't fully understood until recently, but it made perfect sense when I began to think about Grandma's energy dips, the body's ability to process sugar, or glucose, efficiently is directly tied to energy levels. As we age, insulin resistance becomes more common, which means that the body isn't able to regulate blood sugar levels as well as it once did. When blood sugar levels are unstable, either spiking or crashing, it can lead to fatigue, mood swings, and even a sense of confusion or irritability. Grandma had always loved her afternoon tea with a little sugar, but I began to wonder if these small habits were affecting her energy in ways she hadn't realized. Together, these factors created a perfect storm. Grandma's tiredness wasn't just a result of aging, it was the culmination of several interconnected factors. Her hormones were out of balance, her nutrient levels were low, her sleep was inadequate, she was dealing with mental stress, and her blood sugar wasn't as stable as it used to be. No wonder she was always so drained. But the most important part of all this, there were solutions. Small changes, whether it was adjusting her diet to include more nutrient-rich foods, finding ways to reduce stress, or looking into natural remedies to balance her hormones, could make a significant difference in how she felt. I knew that with a bit of awareness and intention, Grandma could get back to feeling like herself again, full of energy and vitality. As I continued to learn more about the hidden causes of fatigue, I realized that the answers were right in front of us. We just needed to know where to look. If you're like Grandma feeling constantly exhausted, despite doing everything right, know that you're not alone. There's more to your fatigue than meets the eye. And understanding these hidden factors is the first step toward getting your energy back. So, stick with me, because we're going to uncover these hidden culprits and show you how to take control of your energy and your health, one small change at a time. The more time I spent talking with Grandma Evelyn, the more I realized something deeply unsettling, something I think many women experience but rarely speak about: fatigue, mental fog, that persistent, dragging sense of not feeling like yourself anymore. These weren't just normal parts of aging, they were symptoms, signals from a body asking for help, and yet, no one seemed to talk about them in real, meaningful ways. Evelyn had always been strong, vibrant, and full of life. But now, even after making healthy lifestyle choices, eating balanced meals, going for regular walks, and sleeping the recommended 7 to 8 hours, she still felt depleted. What struck me was not just her tiredness, but her quiet resignation to it. It was like she'd been taught to accept this constant fatigue as inevitable, something to just push through. And she's not alone. I've found that many older women feel this exact way. They chalk it up to age, to stress, or to just being tired, without realizing that their bodies may be struggling with real, fixable imbalances, things like hormone depletion, chronic stress overload, nutritional deficiencies, and poor sleep quality. The truth is, these issues are incredibly common and incredibly under-discussed. You see, when it comes to women's health after 50, there's still a massive information gap. Doctors often treat fatigue as a surface symptom, recommending more rest or adjusting medications, but rarely do they dig deep into root causes. Conversations about estrogen, progesterone, B12, or magnesium levels, or how insulin resistance sneaks up on women in their 60s, they just don't happen enough, and even fewer people offer a comprehensive, holistic approach to solving it. That's what made Evelyn's story so powerful to me, and what inspired me to share it with you. Because I believe that once we bring these hidden struggles into the light, women like Evelyn, and maybe like you, can finally start to reclaim their vitality, joy, and energy. You don't have to live in survival mode. You deserve to feel good in your body again. What I admire most about Evelyn is that she didn't just accept her fatigue as her new normal. Once she realized that her exhaustion wasn't just in her head, she became curious, and that curiosity changed everything. She didn't need extreme diets or expensive supplements to feel better. Instead, she made a few simple, practical changes to her daily routine, and the results were almost immediate. First, she adjusted her meals. Evelyn started focusing on balancing her blood sugar, something most women don't realize is critical to steady energy. She swapped out her usual sugary granola for a protein-packed breakfast, eggs with sautéed spinach, and a sprinkle of cheese. At lunch, she added healthy fats like avocado and olive oil. Dinner became lighter, but nutrient-dense, grilled salmon with roasted veggies. These small shifts helped her avoid that mid-afternoon crash and kept her energy levels stable all day. Second, Evelyn rethought her sleep, not the hours, but the quality. She created a calming bedtime routine, turning off screens an hour before bed, sipping warm chamomile tea, and using a lavender essential oil diffuser. Most importantly, she made her bedroom a tech-free zone and started going to bed at the same time every night. Within a week, she noticed she wasn't waking up groggy anymore. Third, she became intentional about moving her body, not intense workouts, but gentle daily movement. A 20-minute walk each morning in fresh air, followed by light, stretching in the evening, helped reduce stiffness, improved her circulation, and even lifted her mood. And lastly, Evelyn began doing something she hadn't done in years, listening to her body. She gave herself permission to rest without guilt. She began journaling each morning, not just to plan her day, but to reconnect with how she was feeling mentally and physically. None of these changes were dramatic, but they were consistent, and they were hers, and they worked. If Evelyn, a 72-year-old grandmother who once felt invisible in her own fatigue, can feel vibrant again, so can you. Your energy isn't gone. It's just waiting for you to make space for it. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly how to do just that. As Evelyn's energy returned and her smile came back, something else shifted her mindset. She began to see that health isn't just about avoiding illness or taking medications. For her, it became about thriving, not just surviving. That shift gave her a powerful new sense of control and hope. It's something I've seen in so many older women. For years, they've put others first: children, partners, careers. But at some point, the body whispers, and if we don't listen, it starts to shout. Evelyn's journey reminded me of this truth. Health is our most valuable asset, especially as we age, and caring for it isn't selfish, it's essential. Longevity isn't just about reaching 90 or 100. It's about having the strength, clarity, and spirit to enjoy the years you do have, to walk without pain, to sleep peacefully, to wake up excited for your day. That's the kind of vitality Evelyn discovered, and that so many women are searching for. She started learning more about how aging affects women's bodies uniquely, how hormone levels impact not only energy, but also bone strength, heart health, and even brain function. She added vitamin D and magnesium to her routine after consulting her doctor, realizing they were crucial for her immune system and muscle recovery. She focused on hydration, a simple yet often overlooked key to feeling more alive. But perhaps most importantly, she built habits that last. She didn't overhaul her life overnight. Instead, she focused on small, sustainable choices: a daily walk, a more colorful plate, a moment of stillness each morning. That's the secret. Not perfection, but consistency. Evelyn often says, "Now, I don't just want to add years to my life. I want to add life to my years." And that's the kind of message that resonates deeply with so many women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. Because no one wants to feel like they're fading. We want to feel seen, strong, and fully alive. So if you've been feeling worn down or overlooked, know this: it's not too late. You can reclaim your energy. You can feel vibrant again. And Evelyn's story is proof of that. Let's keep going, because the best years might still be ahead. Evelyn's transformation didn't come from a magic pill or a one-size-fits-all solution. It came from something far more powerful: choice. Each small, intentional step she took was an act of self-respect, and perhaps more than anything, it was the realization that she was still in control. For years, Evelyn had believed that feeling tired, achy, and foggy was just part of getting older. It's just my age, she'd say. But now, she knows better. What changed everything was the moment she asked herself a simple question. What if I could feel better? That one question led her down a path of discovery, not just about supplements or routines, but about self-worth. She began treating her health like a garden. If she wanted it to flourish, she had to nurture it, not once in a while, but every day. She started scheduling gentle movement into her mornings, not because she had to, but because it made her feel alive. She prepared nourishing meals with intention, choosing foods that supported her energy, not just filled her plate. She created bedtime rituals, calming teas, screen-free wind-downs, soft music, because she finally valued her rest. But perhaps the biggest shift was emotional. By caring for herself, Evelyn began feeling something she hadn't in years: empowered. She wasn't waiting on someone else to fix her. She became her own advocate, reading, learning, asking questions, making changes. And that sense of ownership, it lit a fire inside her. Now, when friends ask, what changed? She smiles and says, I stopped waiting for permission to put myself first. That mindset is contagious. Because when you see someone like Evelyn, a woman in her late 60s, with renewed energy, clearer focus, and joy in her eyes, you can't help but wonder what's possible for you. Too, and it is possible. This story isn't about perfection. It's about progress, about small, manageable choices that add up to big results. And more than that, it's about the freedom that comes when you realize you hold the power to change how you feel, one step at a time. You don't have to settle for less energy, less joy, or less life. Like Evelyn, you can take it back, starting today. Evelyn's story reminds us that aging doesn't mean surrendering our vitality. So often, we accept fatigue, brain fog, and low energy is the price of growing older, but they don't have to be. Her journey teaches us that small, consistent changes, from caring for our hormones and nutrition to improving sleep and reducing stress, can have a powerful impact. More importantly, Evelyn discovered the strength that comes from listening to her body and taking proactive steps, not just to live longer, but to live better. The lesson here is simple. You are never too old to take control of your health. Your body is still listening. It just needs the right support. Whether you're 60 or 90, it's never too late to feel more energized, more present, and more alive. If Evelyn's story spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe to Senior Moments Matter, and turn on notifications for more stories and tips that empower your journey to healthier, happier aging. And we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments. What part of Evelyn's story resonated most with you? Do you have your own experience or question about fatigue and aging? Let's grow stronger together.